Well, I hope all the girlies are happy now because it's officially fall. Let's get into it. Take 92. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to find me on other social media, you can do so by following me over on Instagram and Threads at Piece4PeaceCrafting or over on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft. And if you like music and you would like to follow along to the silly little playlist that we have that goes along with this podcast, you can do so by following it over on Spotify at the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast playlist. If you have trouble finding said playlist, shoot me a message over on Instagram and I will gladly send it to you in a DM over there. To anyone that's returning, welcome back, friends. And if you are clicking on one of these videos for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here. And yeah, if you do, feel free to do all that fun YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Let's build better community. How's everyone doing? It has been 2 weeks. I can't believe it. Honestly, I feel like every time I come on here, I now say, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks. But I literally can't believe it's been 2 weeks. It's officially fall, so I'm happy that you all are happy. Although it doesn't feel like fall here just yet. In Chicago, it was 90 degrees yesterday, so that's not fall for us. Although today it was in the 70s and rainy, so like, whatever. It is what it is around these parts. So for me, things have been good. The last episode, I talked about how we hit 5,000 subscribers, which is so much fun, and so I have some donated things that a friend of a friend who I'm now calling a friend was doing, like a de-stash, getting rid of some stuff. And so I have some things to pass along to you all. I have a couple things that I've made. Yeah, there's things happening. This is going to be an episode that's a little bit lighter on the knitting because I have run into a little bit of, not a slump or a funk, just I'm trying to figure some things out in the process of making a project, and it's sort of put most of my knitting on hold because I am literally going back and forth every other hour, every other day about how I want to approach said thing. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, first things first. I feel chaotic. First things first, let's do a little sharing of items. So if you are in the US, feel free to comment below if you would like one of the 3 items that I am going to be sending out to one of you lucky, fabulous people. All right, here's the thing. I'm just gonna go through these quick. You all, I think most of these are either worsted or DK. I personally am having a little bit of trouble, and if I were a good podcaster, I would have like done some Google searching to try and figure some things out, but just for right now, that's not really my That's not my ministry right now. I'm so sorry. So the first thing that is going to be passed along is this Fiber Natura natural fine hand knitting yarns. And this is, I'm gonna assume it's in the color, nope, it's pewter or color 40206. And these are 50-gram balls, and it's 175 yards for each. So it's this beautiful, like, brownish color, really pretty. I'm gonna say worsted DK, but it is 60 superwash merino, 20 linen, 20 silk is the makeup, and I have 10 50-gram balls of that. So for all of these, oh my gosh, not it falling out of my lap. For all of these, your prompt is going to be, it's giving, and then the brand, right? That's what you're gonna say in the comment. So there's 10 of these. And if you would like to enter to get this, just put in your comment, it's giving Fibra Natura. That's how we're gonna do this. So that's number one. Number two is this Italian yarn. And this is also 50 grams. You guys, I don't even know if you can still get this. It is, where's the brand? Grignosco, maybe? I don't know. They're 50 grams. It's 110 yards for 50 grams, and it's 100% alpaca. It's really pretty. It's sort of like marled looking. Lovely in sort of a grayish color. So that's fun, grays and blacks. And there are, 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $20 balls of that. So 110 yards times 20. I mean, that's enough to make a sweater, a jacket, a something. For this one, just say it's giving Italy. Mamma mia. And last, we have this Cascade yarn. And this is 70 merino wool, 30% silk. And it's 102 yards for 100 grams. This reddish color. And there are 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 9. I'll recount. I think there's 9 of those. It's giving Cascade. Perfect. So if you would like any of those 3, I know I went through those kind of fast. Feel free to just drop it in the comments below. And for the next episode, I will pull 3 folks and then, tell you all how you can get back to me. I will obviously say that on here, never in a comment. So if you are interested, make sure that you are watching the episodes so that you can know if you are one of the winners for that. I would love to send it to one of you. She was just like, I hope that either you give it a good home or you find someone for it to be or you find a good home for it. And so I would love to pass that along to one of you fine people. All right. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk some making, shall we? Let's start with funsies. So within the last 2 weeks, I actually finished sewing a pair of pants. I'm gonna show them a little bit here, but then I'll show them now and then I'll put in a little video in a second. So I finished these they're cropped pants in a 4-ounce denim, so a lightweight denim. The pattern is the 101 pants from Merchant and Mills. I had so much fun figuring out how to put these little eyelets in for the drawstrings. I also added an elastic because I am in my comfy era. Yeah, so the drawstrings are just for a look, although they can hold them up, you know, if I'm feeling slightly snatched that day and I need a little extra cinching in at the waist. But these were, I can pop in the little video, it's very short, of me just like on my back porch wearing them. These were a great project. While I could have done it all in one day, I really took my time in pinning out the pattern, cutting it out, and then slowly just going step by step, piecing things together, and really taking my time doing it. I feel like I learned a lot making these pants. A lot about my machine, a lot about fit and how I want things to look on my body. I also feel like I learned a lot about just like reading a different pattern. So following along, it was really great. The instructions were wonderful. Like I love the picture detail and like how it's written out. There was one thing that I did have to look up because I didn't understand what it meant. They were saying that I need to do a sink stitch. And so I had to look that up because I didn't know what it was. And it basically is just a stitch in the ditch, which I've heard of that before just from like people that I watch or friends that I have who talk about sewing. So that was cool to like learn a new technique and to be a little bit freaked out about that and to try and do that technique and make sure that I was staying in the line so that it was as invisible as possible when I was doing said stitch. And I think it turned out well. Also too, the hem of these, maybe it was just me, maybe it was the way that it was done. They ended up being like almost a regular pant length. And so I wanted them to be a little bit more cropped than I think the pattern allowed for. And so that was really cool. I just cut off about 2 inches and then hemmed them another 2 inches. So it ended up being 4 inches shorter than what the pattern actually called for. I did the size 18, I think. Yeah, they're really great. I'm really excited about them. I think for the most part, like my stitching is pretty good. There's a couple spots that like, uh-oh, I wasn't staying in my lane. But, you know, for a beginning sewer, I'm like really happy with the end product and I can't wait to wear these. I also, actually I'll talk about that in a second. So this was like definitely a win for me and I'm hoping to wear them tomorrow actually to go to work. Another fun thing that I did, there was which I don't have, oh yes I do. There's a place here in the city called the Waste Shed. I don't remember if I talked about this in the last episode. Anyway, they are sort of a resource for folks. I've donated yarn there before. If you have sort of like crafty goods that you have leftovers of, or you have like enough that could be something, but you're not going to use it, you can donate it there. So there's like stationery and paint and fabric, yarn, needles, paintbrushes, pens, like all sorts of things, right? And they were having a fabric sale at one of their locations. There's 2 locations here in this, well, one in the city and then one like slightly outside of the city. And they were having a sale. It was, I think it was like $2 a pound for fabric or something. And so I talked one of my friends into driving over before we made a pit stop to go and see another friend's art show, because artists. And I picked up, which I didn't measure because it was just in a bin, but it is just some lightweight corduroy. And I think there might be about 1.5 yards in here of this. I have to measure it. All I've done so far is I got it home and I washed it because I was like, ugh, this seems a little bit cruddy. Not cruddy, just like it had been in a bin. It was dusty, you know what I mean? So I picked this up, and then I also picked up, which I'm not gonna fully take it out of this bag because it's quite huge, is this fabric that is a little heavier of weight denim. And it looks to me that someone made sort of like a rather large square cover for something. It looks like it could be like a tent canopy almost. And yeah, I decided that I was just gonna snag it. I could seam rip it and use different sections of it for a bunch of different things actually. So I was really happy to get this too. Both of the, I don't know how much this like fabric this is. It's a lot though, because it's quite big. But the two of these, it was $8. So I'm like, great, score one for me. So that's exciting in the world of sewing. All right, moving right along. I finished spinning up, or the last time we were together, I talked about how I had those two bobbins of fiberpunk fiber that I had already spun, and then I finally did a chain ply on them. And so I finally got those off the two bobbins and washed, and of course the little sheet of paper that I have is right in front of me. Wonderful. So this is how that turned out now that it's done. So you can see there's maybe a little sparkle in there. So fun. So this ended up being about 252 yards. That was like pre-washing, so it's probably a little bit less than that now. Sorry. And there are two separate skeins here of that, and so I'm hoping that these will, I think it turned out pretty well. It's gonna stripe, so that's fun. And I'm hoping that these will become a pair of socks soon. I feel like I sort of was mad about how the chain ply was going in the last episode, but then I sort of fixed it, and I'm gonna give it another shot with something else that I'm gonna start spinning up in a minute. But I love how this turned out. I'm glad that there's like already two skeins of it, so literally all I have to do is wind it up, and then I can start knitting from it. Yeah, they're definitely gonna be socks, just because I feel like that would be so fun. But yeah, I think this turned out really well, and it looks lovely. Very excited about that. And then I don't think you all saw the other thing that I have, which is when I was at Flock, a friend of mine, we both went to, I think I talked about this, we both went to the 316 Dye Studio booth, and we were looking at the fiber there, and I told her, if you want something, like, I would gladly spin it up for you. And she was like, okay, cool. So I spun up, wait, let me find the tag. I spun up this fiber, which the lighting is a little bit golden in here right now. Maybe let me try and turn this light off. See if that helps. Kind of. So this is sort of browns, and there's some blues tucked in there. Really beautiful. Really happy with this. So this ended up being about 236 yards. So definitely like a DK worsted. It smells so good. I used the, what is it called? Woolen, of course it's not in here. Woolen Company, I think. Tobacco and something. wool wash, and it smells amazing. So for this, I did more of a fractal spin on it, which I knew would muddy the colors a little bit, but I wanted something that was going to be slightly blended together and would make something a little bit more cohesive and not so stripy, just based on how it was dyed up. And so I did a 3-ply, and what I did is I undid the braid, and then I laid it out on the floor, and I just made an S. Yeah, an S, right? And so I tried to see like if any colors would repeat, like how they would fall. Like there's definitely a little section in here that's like more blue predominant, and another section that's a little more brown predominant, which is really nice. And so, yeah, I just laid it out in an S, and then I split the fiber that way. And then I spun one of them top to bottom. I took the next section and I split it in two, and then did one into one, end to end. And then the last one I did, I split it into three, and then I just went end to end, and then I applied those three separate sections together. So one that was, so 1, 2, 3 basically. So I spun 1, 2, 3 and then plied all three together. And yeah, this is what I came up with. I think it's really nice. It's pretty. And I can't wait to send it off. And so this is, again, 3/16. Sorry, I keep hearing that Charlie XCX song in my head. 360 when I want to say 16, but that's not what we're doing. 3/16 Dye Studio, and this is not the right tag. This is for the sock set, but luckily I have more of it here. So this is 40% merino, 20% alpaca, 20% camel, 20% silk. It was a little slippery to spin, but for the most part, totally fine. So I know I have the tag around, it's probably on my coffee table here somewhere. So I will tag that up and send that off. So Jen, if you're watching, this is coming your way soon. All right, so that is the spinning. Oh, actually I can show you what I have coming up next. I showed this last time, but I want to talk about something just really quickly because I prepped it. So this is a sock set from 3/16, and I've definitely shown this a couple of times already, and this is 100% Corriedale, and so it's so bright and it looks like cotton candy. I'm excited. I have prepped these. So this is gonna be the mini, and this is gonna be the main skein, obviously. This, for both of these, actually, I'm just gonna do end to end, and then I'm gonna 3-ply them. Or no, I'm gonna chain ply them, sorry, for this, I mean, this one, it doesn't really matter, but I wanna keep it consistent so that when they're together, it's the same. But this one, I would like to keep the colors as much together as I can so that they will stripe once I knit them up into socks. Now, for some, this looks very fluffy and very full maybe, and it is. Basically what I do, and it's not me, this is like I saw it on Instagram, and I don't know if I've talked about this before, but for me, what I've started doing for my prep is where's a braid? I just had one next to me. Oh, here we go. Like, here's another sock set, right? And see, I'll just take the mini out of this one. And usually what ends up happening is you get a braid and they can be braided up. And when you undo it, also, you guys, I've seen people, you all just pull from the side where it just can easily undo. I've seen some of you all undoing it from the other side, and it makes me anxious. That's a me thing. And so when we undo the braids, they can look a little scrunched up because they've been braided together, right? And so what I like to do is take this fiber, and then I just have my steamer, and I just sit and I steam it. And what that does is it allows, it's just like when we block our knits or our makes, it allows the fiber to bloom a little bit. And so it opens up, and then I can really like, you know, kind of fluff out the fiber some, which then in turn makes it easier to draft later on when I'm ready to spin it. And so if you have a braid and you feel like, oh, it's like a little bit hard to draft maybe, or it seems really condensed, I would workshop this is gonna look horrible. I would workshop trying to steam it once and see if you like that sort of prep. That's just one way of doing it. Like if you want to steam it and then do another prep that you like doing, like pre-drafting a little bit before you get into the spinning, like by all means. But I do think that, just for me at least, opening up those fibers a little bit before I start the actual spinning. Oh, it actually doesn't look that bad. Yeah. Let me make sure I keep that with that. Yeah, just hitting it with a little bit of steam, fluffs it up, and makes it really easy to go in and start to draft from. So hopefully the next time, within the next 2 weeks, I have to go out of town for a work trip, but within the next 2 weeks, hopefully I can get this spun up and we can chat more about that when I am back. All right, so that's that for the spinning. Woohoo. So exciting. Next thing is a little bit of progress on my knits. On one thing, and then I'm going to show another, and we're going to have a little chat about said thing. So my socks, you all, I can't believe these aren't done yet. I am so disappointed in myself. But these are my Woolens and Nosh June Club colorway. These are in the color Daisy Chain. I'm obsessed with these. I love the colors. I think they're so cute. And I literally have a stripe and a half left to do. And then I can do the ribbing on top and do my heel. These are, I do all my socks 2 at a time on a US 1, so 2.25. These are Chalgu red lace needles. I do toe up. So I start with 14. I do a Turkish cast on, start with 14, increase to, I was gonna say 36 to 68. And then I just knit until about 7 3/4 of an inch, put my markers where my heel is gonna go, and then do about the same, and then add the ribbing at the top. Yeah, there's not much to say about these. Like, it's just, it's slow going. I can't believe I'm showing them to you and they're not done yet. That's crazy. Crazy town. Crazy town. All right, last thing, you all, and then we're gonna get out of here, is I am should have started already. But you know, whatever. So this year for Rhinebeck, a bunch of friends and I are all trying to make matching jackets to wear one of the days while we're there. And so a bunch of us are doing the Shaun's Gambier, or the Gambier. It might have another name for the, like, not broad version. Anyway, I'm just gonna say Lindsay, and then you all can look at her last name. So this is what the pattern looks like. Everything is linked below. Like, super cute, oversized jacket, love it. It's 3 colors. I am using, where's my little thing? Sorry, I'm gonna reach past the camera. I'm using Lamb's Pride. It's bulky. It's it's not 90. It's 85% wool, 15% mohair, 125 yards per 150 13 grams. So I am using colors. This is warm caramel, and then this is blown out, but it's just like a creamish color, and it's just called Aaron. And this last one is called Deep Charcoal. This is so blown out. I know I didn't show one of the colors. That's because you're about to see it right now. So, it goes this way. So I made my swatch. I think it looks great. I'm very excited. I ended up, in the pattern, you're supposed to carry this, which I'm using the warm, I forgot what it's called, caramel color maybe? You're supposed to just carry like these really long floats. And so I was doing a swatch and I didn't want to do that. So I just decided to duplicate stitch it. And I think that's what I might do when I finally get around to doing it. Here's the problem, or not the problem, here's the roadblock that I'm having. This pattern is written for you to knit it on size US 10 and US 11 needles. So I did my swatch in the US 11 because this pattern is going to be in the main fabric, and you're supposed to be getting 11 stitches per 11 and a half stitches for 4 inches. I am getting 15 stitches, which means that my gauge is tighter than what the pattern is written for. And I don't have like a size 13 needle to go up to try to get that gauge. So I was trying to do the math to figure out if doing the pattern in the like female pattern but a large size, because that is 13 stitches for 4 inches, or a larger size of the Shaun's Gambier to get the right size. So either way, like if I was getting gauge, I would have to do the size 46, which is the second size in the Shaun's Gambier pattern. But because I'm getting a tighter gauge and I did my math, I would have to do the 60, that sounds out of control. I would have to do the size 63, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the 5th size in this pattern. And that would put me, so like I wanted to make the 46, which would have given me about 3 inches of positive ease. If I do the 63, I think if I'm remembering correctly, I don't have it, written down in front of me and I don't really remember. I think that would give me about a 48, 49 inch jacket, which would give me like 6 inches of positive each, which is like totally fine. But I'm just nervous about what to do. And if I'm being honest, like I did the pockets already, like the lining for the pockets. Like I love this color. It's so beautiful. And then I just stopped. I actually started casting on the body, and I stopped halfway through casting on because I was like, I literally don't know what size I'm doing, and I don't know which version of the pattern I'm gonna do. So within the next 2 weeks, the next time you see me, I will figure out my life. Well, not my life, but I'll figure out which version of the pattern I'm gonna do. And yeah, it just has really been hard for me to decide what I want to do, and like time is ticking because like you know, this event is going to be coming up in, well, now a month. Today's the 22nd, 21st, I don't remember. Anyway, whatever. It's in about a month, a little less than a month, and which I can totally bang it out. I'm pretty sure. I just need to like start. So hopefully that starts soon and I can figure it out. I'm really nervous and I'm gonna have to get more yarn for it, which kind of sucks, but yeah, I guess I'm just gonna see what happens. And if it gets done, it gets done. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's totally fine. Like, it's just knitting. It shouldn't stress me out, but it's giving me pause. It's not stressing me out. It's giving me pause. So I just need to get over this hurdle and keep pushing. And then, yeah, things will be great. All right. Other than that, I don't have a music rec this week because I was too concerned with making sure that I have the stuff to give to you all. And I didn't pull something. But with that being said, if you are interested in having one of those 3, they're like low-key sweater quantities, like get into it. If you're interested in having any of those 3, please leave me a comment down below so that I can pull for those in the next episode. Everything that I talked about, all the fiber, the pattern, oh no, 2 patterns, because I made those pants, I totally forgot. Patterns that I talked about, all that will be linked below. Again, if this is your first time watching, sorry, this is a little chaotic, but that's also how we roll around here. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to give a little subscribe so that you can come back and see a less chaotic episode. Although I feel like we in this community, we enjoy the chaos. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, because it just came to me, sorry it's so late, hope you made it to the end. All of you who came and hung out for the Zoom hangouts, that was an absolute blast. I had so much fun hanging out with everyone for like 2 hours last weekend. Yeah, we're definitely going to do it again. Maybe in 2 weeks, I'll try to put out another one. Oh, that'll be like when I'm recording again. We'll figure it out. But that's really exciting. That's happening. And yeah, I want to do more of them. I feel like the group had a really good time and it made me smile. And it was fun to see some new faces there, which was really exciting. And like some old friends who continue to come back and hang out every like we've done it so many times, but the few times that I have done it, it's been fun to see some of those people come back again and re-enter the room and enter the space and just hang out for a little bit. So yeah, good times. More of that coming. I hope everyone enjoys the changing of the season now that we're officially in the next season. And yeah, start decorating, start doing all the things. I know you want to. It's literally like sitting, the things are in your living room and they haven't been put out yet. Just like put them out. It's time. Do it. It's gonna make you happy. Yeah, enjoy the next 2 weeks, you all. I'm gonna try to get some making done. I have to get that jacket started. And yeah, I don't know. Make all the things. Decorate all the things. Start getting cozy. Sweater weather is just around the corner, and I know you guys can't wait for it. So until I see you next time, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.